now at the top of the hour. We have got a lot to cover. We will be doing Q&A, so you can pop those into the chat as well, and we'll have people answer those as we go along. But hopefully I'll be answering any question that you possibly have. So this is our final ILTACON webinar that we will be hosting for the 2024 ILTACON that is coming up in just a few short days. So these are the things that we will be covering. I'm not going to go over this because we're going to go ahead and jump right in. This is the team that's on the call today. I'm Dawn Hudgens. We have Jessica Likens, Ian McCormick, Tyler Howes, Ashley Cowitz, Sharon Stewart, and Courtney Oliver, who are on this as well. So first things first, there are just a few key points that I want to make sure that we cover and that you guys hear so that you can plan in case it has slipped by you. You guys need to get your badges assigned and finalized for registration by tomorrow, July 25th. It closes at 11:59 p.m. Please do this, because if you don't and you happen to wait to register online, please let your teams know that they could experience about a minimum 2-hour wait just to go through registration, because it is a process and we do have to go through the whole process. So if you're waiting to the last minute to do that, just make sure that you prepare them for that, because that's just how it is. It will take a minute or two to get that done. Once you have registered, keep in mind too, it's going to take another 30 minutes before you're able to capture your first lead. So if you get there Monday or Sunday, 20 minutes before the reception, it might be a little bit of a problem. And because of that, you can't just go to the reception or to the event that's taking place. Everyone on our conference floor will have to be badged, period. There is no, I'm going to go to the reception first. You will be turned away and sent right back to registration. And that is for everyone's safety. So just please remember that. So go ahead and get your registrations in by tomorrow. Here are a few key deadlines. We still have a few. COIs. Well, first of all, that deadline is passed, but I know that many of you have not turned those in yet. Please make that a priority this week. The 25th, as mentioned before, registration closes. I don't know what 26 slide intermissions mean. So if someone else on the team wants to pop in on that one, who can tell me what that is? Because I think that's new. Okay.
Slide and slide decks are due for people.
Slide decks. Okay, great. Thank you. The 26th, we also have a deadline for your push app notifications. And then we do have another webinar that is what to expect at ILTACON that we do for all attendees. You're welcome to attend that. All the information, some of the information is there'll be some that's new and different that's strictly targeted to you as an attendee and not as a business partner. So you may want to hop on that as well. August 2nd, your bingo prize submission form is due, so make sure you get that in. And then we have GES shipping. This one's really important. By now, I'm sure you guys have planned out what you'll have in your demo rooms, what you'll have in your exhibit space. Those are 2 different shipping labels. Make sure, because if you don't have them labeled properly, I have personally done this in the past myself and put something with my exhibit and needed it in my demo room and had to buy a new one because I didn't have it. And that was a nice little rush. So make sure that you do that. But for them to receive, their last day to receive your items, not your last day to ship, but their last day to receive is August 7th. That is coming up, so make sure you have that done. And then on-site registration begins on the 11th, and as we mentioned, that there'll be quite a few people waiting to do that, and there will be a line for that, and it does take some time. These are final deadlines. There are no additional extensions at this point. We are at the very end, and these are it. On Monday, August 12th, I do need to have your teams out of the exhibit hall at 4 p.m. That is a normal standard time that we ask everyone to leave the exhibit hall. The reason, there's a few reasons, and I want to tell you what they are so you know. The hotel staff has to come in and clean up and vacuum and make it look really nice for our opening exhibit hall celebration. But the bigger thing is that is when our fire marshal comes through the hall, and you're not to be in there when the fire marshal comes through the hall. So I have experienced it from time to time when I ask people to leave and someone will say to me, this is a quote, "Yes, I've been told several times," yet you're still in the exhibit hall. Please do not make me feel bad for making you get out of the exhibit hall at 4 o'clock. Just make sure you're out of there at 4 o'clock. We do have a business partner orientation and appreciation reception that we're really excited to offer this year. It is Monday from 5 until 6. You already have to be out of the exhibit hall, so it's a great time to go do it. It is Governor's North. We're going to be going through some key things regarding the event, but also we're going to have, we're going to have a bar in there, and everyone on your team is welcome to join us. So that is Governor's North, 5 to 6. It is a business partner orientation and appreciation reception for you guys as well. Here are some tips and tricks regarding ILTACON. This is not just this year. Well, some of these points are, and I'll get to those. But you are not allowed to have outside food or beverages in your booth, your demo room, or your suite. Those have to be secured from the hotel. So make sure that is the case. If you're planning on balloons, don't. This particular hotel, basically all the Gaylord hotels, there is a $10,000 fine that you will receive if you have a balloon get away from you. And the reasoning is it has everything to do with the equipment that they have to bring in order to get those balloons off their atrium ceilings. So no balloons, not kidding. And it is a $10,000 fee if one gets away from you. If it's in multiple locations, I've never had that happen. I don't know what that looks like, but it potentially could be $20,000 if that's the case. Do not break down early. We have breakdown scheduled for noon on Thursday. It's really important for you not to break down early. This is a safety precaution for everybody involved. So please make sure that you follow those rules. No removing of furniture from the hotel sleeping rooms. No MiFi or personal wireless devices, and no giveaways over $500. Just some cool suggestions. Make sure you could air tag your swag items in your luggage just to make sure you know where they are. A great trick to also do is if you're shipping something, bring with you the tracking numbers for all of that and how you shipped it so we can figure it out and find it if it happens to be misplaced. It's really important. Shipping to GES makes it a lot easier. They can drop it at your demo room. They can drop it, well, at most demo rooms. I think we've gone through the ones where that doesn't work in the Magnolia area. They can drop it at your booth and making sure that you have it to them by August 7th. Label your boxes. If you have 15 boxes, make sure it's 1 of 15, 2 of 15. Makes it a lot easier to be able to find those boxes and know exactly which one is missing if it happens. And always make sure to use the correct labels for your boxes. Wi-Fi this year is sponsored by Everlaw. It should be available everywhere to you guys. We have really, Ian has done a great job working with the hotel, making sure that we should have enough bandwidth pretty much for everything, except if you are doing live demos, you need to make sure, whether it is in your demo room or in your booth, that you purchase Wi-Fi or hardwiring for that. The way that the conference Wi-Fi is set up, it is not set up for every single person to be able to do a demo from that Wi-Fi. If we start having problems, we will know why we're having problems because this has already been studied and set. So to make sure that your demo goes well, make sure that you have your own hardwired internet or your own Wi-Fi bandwidth for the area in which you are working in. This year, we will require you to bring a government-issued ID with your photo on it to pick up your badge. Since security this year is a little tighter based on some things that have happened throughout 2024, we need to make sure that you have your ID when you come to pick up your badge. Yes, Jessica.
I just wanted to clarify because we had a question in the chat. A company ID with picture and name on it will also work. We just need to be able to verify your identity for those international travelers. And then also a passport will work as well.
Great, thank you. Sharon, tell us a little bit about bingo.
Yeah, sure. So bingo is in the exhibit hall. It's back again this year. We've kind of went retro. We're going back to the traditional old school bingo card and stamps to help drive traffic in the exhibit hall. Each business partner will have a stamp dropped off for them at their booth, just as we had done in the years past for marking attendee bingo cards when they come to your booth. So no need to worry about getting a stamp. If you'd like to participate in bingo and raffling off a prize or prizes, please submit the bingo prize submission form no later than August 2nd, which is coming up, I believe, next week. Winners will be drawn on Wednesday afternoon, and email notifications will be sent out to each winner and business partner providing the prize by email that same day. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. Happy to help.
Great. Thanks, Sharon.
Thanks.
All right, so more preparation. So proper prior planning. Make sure you plan ahead. Send out emails to people you want to meet. Some people, it's already too late. So go ahead and get on their calendars. Make sure that they have those in their diaries so that they can meet with you on property. This particular property is a cashless property. So make sure that you bring some form of payment for additional things that you need within the hotel, you know, whatever that happen might be. Make sure you bring your ID with you when you register. Get the maps and get acclimated with the property, the restaurants, the reception areas. Know how long it takes you to walk from place A to place B. This is a very unusual property. It is it's built in kind of like an oval. So once you take a look at the map and you get an idea, it'll really help you be able to navigate. And also, fun fact about this property, each area, whether you're in the Cascade, the Delta, the Presidential, or the Magnolia, they are color coded by the carpet. So you can also tell when you go from point A to point B. And something that I didn't learn until recently, and I've been at this property probably 10 times now, and I just figured it out the last time I was there. When you're going to elevators, there is a square that'll have numbers on it, like D1 or D3, and it corresponds to your map with a square, and you can tell exactly where you are to be able to find out where you are throughout the hotel. That actually comes in handy sometimes because some of these halls look like you're in The Shining and they all look like exactly the same. So make sure, take a look to see if you've ordered garbage cans or furniture or a way to have your boxes picked up from your booth and vacuuming. Please do not put your boxes from unloading in your demo room in the room beside of you, because someone else has that demo room and they're not going to be very happy neighbors if they find your boxes in their room. And I mention that because we've actually had that happen. So just wanted to bring that up. We will have the Redbird Cafe on Tuesday and Wednesday afternoon from 5 to 6. We'll have some musicians come in and entertain you guys with some music. It does list here wristband for drinks. That is no longer the case. You know, things here happen very quickly. And this actually changed this morning. So we are working on a different type of ticketing program. It will not be like what we've had in the past. It will be by day. And so as we're working through that, you'll find out at registration what that's going to be, because we're not completely clear at the moment, but we will make sure that we have ways for you to get those beverages that you're wanting at those events. Program other numbers into your phone. We have an emergency number for the site this year. It is listed throughout this presentation. Go ahead and put that in your phones. You have no idea when you might need that, and you don't want to have to be looking for it. So you can put in like ILTA emergency line and put in that number, and it'll show up. I'll point it out when it comes up on another slide. I always put all my things into my calendar so I know where I need to be next to allow myself some time and set some reminders. And of course, in case of emergency, we do have signs throughout the property. If something happens, if you need to report an incident, you will see signs that will have QR codes that'll take you to our form where you fill that out, or you can call that number and someone is on that line 24/7 and they can get with you. Of course, if it is an immediate emergency, always dial 911. Remember, this event is a marathon. It is not a sprint. So bring comfortable shoes that have been proven, not brand new shoes. Stay hydrated. Sit sometimes. Don't be walking the whole time and standing the whole time. That's bad on your legs, as we have found out. Clothing, it is an interesting, yeah, of course, bring clothing. It's an interesting climate in this particular facility. one minute you might be warm, the next minute you might be cool. So make sure that you bring a jacket or a sweater. And then of course, any meds that you happen to have, bring an extra week's worth. I say that because things do happen. And if these are important medications for you, you want to make sure that you are prepared. And of course, we do have the numbers for local pharmacies and such to help you out if that happens to be a need. You will need to put down a card on your rooms. This is for any incidentals that could be that you could acquire during the course of the week. So make sure that you do that. If you need to request a secure card authorization, in other words, you don't have a card to put down, but you need to have that on there, we can make that happen with some other forms of authorization for that. There's housing@iltanet.org here. Please reach out, and a phone number here to reach out to as well. All right. In our planning, there's a little bit to talk about here before, during, and after ILTACON I want to go over. Make sure before you get to ILTACON, and you have to do this when you register, go in to iltanet.org and set up your account. Even if you don't register till you're on site, setting up your account gets you further along in the process. Also, update your information. I've never been in an industry where someone could work for a business partner today and then for the association tomorrow, and the next week they're working at one of the law firms. And sometimes that information doesn't get updated in our system. So make sure you take a moment, look to make sure it's got your updated picture and it has who you're working for and your name is correct and all of that is updated. Be talking to your teams about what success looks like for you at ILTACON. What are your goals? Who is your audience? What is your plan for the booth? How are you going to get them into your booth? Does your booth follow IAEE booth regulations? That is easily something that you can Google to make sure. If you ever have noticed somebody from my team coming and asking you to move your pop-up banners 3 feet from the aisles, that is an IAEE regulation. It's also something that's really nice to do because they do block your next door neighbor along those aisles, and you don't want to do that because you are with them all week. Make sure you go through that. I know a lot of you have already started submitting your booth plans, and that's necessary too, because we can tell you right off the bat if there's an issue with what you had planned. I know last year I had an organization that I worked with. We had to come up with some creative ideas rather quickly because they did not follow the rules. Sometimes the fire marshals will not allow you to continue that way. So planning ahead of time and making sure that you have a solution or that it does comply is a lot faster for everybody and saves some headaches. I'm sure by now you have already planned out who's going to staff your booth and giving them breaks and time to go sit down or get something to eat at a meal. And are you going to be doing some type of giveaway, or are you participating in exhibitor bingo? Make sure you reach out to Sharon if you plan on doing that and have not reached out to her just yet. How are you going to market the presence to draw traffic to your booth? We do our part in trying to make sure that the pattern for the exhibit hall works for a good flow. But you need to be marketing and reaching out to people to make sure that they come by and see you. Make it enticing for them. If you're at the booth working, have eye contact with the people who are walking down the aisle. Don't be on your phones the whole time. Can't tell you how many times I go down an aisle and see someone with their face down looking at their phones. And everyone who is there at ILTACON is a potential customer. They may not be today, but they may be in the future. And that's one of the cool things about ILTACON with the relationship building and getting to know people. People are so interconnected and they talk to each other. So building those relationships are extremely important. Make sure you go and take a look at all the webinar recordings that we have done up until this part. There's quite a few of them, lots of good information. It should answer most of your questions, but if it doesn't, you can always reach out to us. Do you have copies of your shipping information? It's very important. Contact information for all of your booth staff. Do you have your booth build plan? Is it done? Have you submitted it for review? Your contact information for all the vendors that you're working with on site. Do you know what education sessions you'll attend? One of the pointers that Gina Buser, who's I think she's on this call, pointed out to me that I thought was really brilliant is one of the things that they do at Traveling Coaches is they encourage their employees to take a look and see who's speaking that might be a customer of theirs. And they go and listen to their session and support them. That's fantastic. People want to know that you care, and that's a great way to do that. What receptions are you planning on targeting while you're there to make connections? We have a few different ones. So when the app comes out, be making your plan. Take a look at it early on. What is your organization's safety and security plan? Are you hosting an event? That's a real key one there. When you're in sessions, remember that you are the thought leader and the expert. That's not usually a time for sales here at this event, but they want to hear from you because you guys are the experts. You know what's coming new and what's happening in the industry. Be there, be present. Turn in your click button. That's a big one. Turn in your click button before you leave the event. There will be bags located throughout the property, and all you have to do is just pop it off, drop it in there, and we definitely thank you for doing that for us. At the end of ILTACON, who's taking your booth down? How's it getting off the floor? Do you have labor lined up for dismantling? Who needs the copies of the final invoices? Who is responsible for ensuring everything is removed from all of your spaces, including the demo rooms? And then, of course, leverage the Click app, the admin portal when you get back to capture your leads so that you can use those for building your business. Here is a map of the property. You can see down here at the very bottom left, that is where you enter for hotel registration, where you get your room key. And way over here at the Delta, on the Delta ballroom section is where the registration for ILTACON will be. So you can kind of see how this works as far as a large, well, I said an oval, but I don't think this, maybe it's an amoeba. But you can kind of see how this goes. You can see the squares with like D1, D2 that I was referencing earlier, where the elevators are, so you know exactly where you are to find your way. Where it says Delta Island Mezzanine, this is where our Sunday night opening reception will be, just so that you know, so it's very close to registration. And then our Thursday night reception is going to be in the Delta A ballroom, which is where we have our keynote sessions this week. Tuesday and Wednesday, we will be having, I'm going to get to that in a minute. I'm jumping ahead. The emergency hotline number can be found here. So plug those into your phone. Here is another very in-depth sliced view of the property. Take a moment to look at this one. I know it's a lot of information, but we do have it color coded as to where things are. So you can see where G100, G200 corporate legal day are. You can see where the overflow meal room is. Not everybody has to eat in the exhibit hall. You can see where ILTACON education is, or where additional education might be, and where the keynotes are. There's a lot of information on here. Take a moment and go through it. You can, of course, see the aqua blue areas. That's where all the demo rooms are. So take a look at that. Here are some things that are new and notable. This isn't new, but I wanted to bring it up because last year we did this as well, and somebody mentioned to me that they didn't know. So I think it's probably good for a few more years that we keep mentioning it. If you have a registration badge of any kind, whether it's a day badge or a week badge, you have food available to you. You can consume the food at lunchtime. You can participate in the breakfast bites, and you can participate in the receptions. So please make sure you know that so that you can join us. We do have some continue the conversation speaker spaces this year. It's a room we have set up. So if you've gone to a great education space and you want to chat a little bit more with the speakers about it, you can go back to this room and have some additional conversation. We do have breakfast bites located on property. On Monday, it's in 2 different locations. Actually, Monday through Thursday, it's in 2 different locations where you can get that. And then lunch on Monday. Well, lunch on Tuesday and Wednesday will be in the exhibit hall. On Thursday, we'll talk about that in just a moment. But you'll notice there'll be signage on where you can find lunch and where our receptions will be. We have, for Sunday night, we have our opening reception. That'll be in the Delta area. We also have Sunday afternoon, the regional team building. This is really going to be a fun event. It's called Strings of Hope. And we will be working side by side, business partners and attendees alike, and we'll be decorating with positive images and words and art, guitars. And then we're shipping them back to the very places that our members have said, this is a school that needs some assistance in musical equipment. And so we'll be shipping those back all across the country. But before that happens, you get an opportunity to vote on which guitar looks the best or conveys the best message. And that region will then get a reception back in their home area later in the fall. There is not a Tuesday keynote, but we do have a great Monday one. It is with Hannah Fry. She is a doctor of mathematics, absolutely fantastic to listen to. We have had her as a keynote at ILTACON Europe a couple of times. She's great. You don't want to miss that. If you don't typically go to the keynotes, please make sure you go to this one and the one on Wednesday. They are wonderful. Monday evening, we have our exhibit hall opening, A Tale of Tennessee. I'm really excited to see what you guys have done for this one. We have a cool new Look Like a Local giveaway. We have line dancing classes we'll be offering every day. We have the ILTA Redbird Cafe on Tuesday and Wednesday. We have local musicians with us all week. We have some small networking events, flocking tables at lunch so you can go and find people who are in your industry. We have some quieter areas for lunch. We have a tranquility room, which I'm really excited about. So if it gets overwhelming, you need a moment, just take some silence, go and sit in our tranquility room, listen to some nice spa music, dim lights, very comfortable chairs and seating. We have the G100 on Monday, G200 on Tuesday, Corporate Legal Day on Wednesday. We are keeping the same exhibit hall hours as in 2023. We do have our annual group meeting on Thursday, and I'm sure you're thinking, why do you care? Because up until this point, you guys haven't been allowed to come to our annual group meeting. This year, we're doing it a little differently, and you will get some more information from me on this as well. We'll be sending out an email. But we will have at the very beginning our closed session, and then we're going to open it up to allow you to come in to listen to the rest of the annual report. You can ask questions. We do ask for questions to be pre-submitted, and we'll also be serving a meal during that time too. So make plans to come do that because we've not been able to offer this to you before. It's new. It could be very insightful for you. So come on out for that. And then Thursday night, we have our end of conference party, Denim and Diamonds. I do hope that you are staying for that. That one should be fun. And then this is by day what it looks like. We have some regional team building. We have orientation. We have an opening reception. We have the buddy meetup. We have young and new professional meetup. You guys are all welcome to attend that if you qualify for those areas. 7 to 9 is when our opening reception is. It is at the Delta Islands in this area. Beautiful area. It's sponsored by Everlaw. Monday, this is Dr. Hannah Fry. She is sponsored by Net Documents, and she is speaking on data and bias. Here's some more exciting things that are going on Monday. We do have the orientation and business partner appreciation reception. We have company updates, master classes, the DEI. There's a education session and then a networking event. We have education, line dancing, cool installations that you can participate in. And then we have our exhibit hall grand opening, which should be a lot of fun, always is. And that's from 7 until 9. This is the area where it takes place. You can see that round area right there. We're going to have some musicians for you while people are waiting to come in this year. That should be great. All right, so Tuesday, we do not have a keynote Tuesday. We do have some extra morning time where there's all kinds of things going on, including a breach readiness survey. We have the Redbird Cafe on Tuesday. We have the evening open, so you guys can actually have events without us having anything planned over top of that. For company updates, line dancing, master classes, the Women Who Lead are having an education event, as well as a networking session. Here are our musicians for Tuesday. We have Braden Hall, James Glenn, and Dean Marion. They will be with us from 5 to 6 in the Redbird Cafe located in the exhibit hall. There will be a cash bar located in there during that time as well, in case you're wondering. On Wednesday, Jeff McKissick is our keynote. His title is Change Your Filters. Jeff has worked with us and partnered with us on lots of things, including I sent this out today in the e-group, so if you haven't seen it yet, take a look at it. He has done some security videos for us regarding not only your own personal safety when you're traveling, but also for events. So take a look at that before you come to the event. Wednesday, Jeff is our keynote. We have the Redbird Cafe in the afternoon. We have a morning fun run at the moment. That actually could possibly change. But at the moment, that's what we're doing. We have line dancing, the ILTA Tech survey session, corporate networking event, and then of course, our evening is open for you guys to do some fun things then as well. Then we have James, Glenn, and Dean Marion with us in the Redbird Cafe on Wednesday. Thursday, we will wrap up our keynotes with G100, G200 CIO wrap up. We have Jay Noggle, Britton Choi, Andrew Powell, and Damon Behan, who will be with us for that. That is sponsored by Thomson Reuters. So we have G100, G200 keynote annual group meeting and luncheon, and you guys are welcome to be a part of that fun. We have line dancing, and we have the ILTACON closing reception of Denim and Diamonds. And our musicians for the week, well, for Thursday night is called Runaway Train. That'll be located in the Delta Ballroom. So what is new and different? Well, I like to say new and notable because sometimes we like to repeat some things. For example, registrations, all of them come with meals and receptions. We do have a startup stage in the exhibit hall and an entire area for startups. We have the Redbird Cafe on Tuesday and Wednesday. We have corporate day. We have shortened hours. We started this last year. We're keeping them this year. We have the business partner exhibit orientation and appreciation reception. We have a great killer Thursday night party planned. We have musicians throughout the property this week. We have the click connecting and lead generation. People at Evolve back in the spring really raved about how it was working. So we're really excited to have that again this year. It is a cashless property. We are doing Strings of Hope, the team building opportunity with attendees and business partners on Sunday. And then, of course, we have the business partner support desk near the exhibit hall on the lower level, but everyone registers together. So, Ian, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you. My name is Ian. I am the IT Manager of Development and Events for ILTA, and you will be seeing me wandering across the exhibit hall floor as well as the conference, leveraging and working with our partners from Click and Bizzabo. So Click and Bizzabo, Bizzabo acquired Click a few years ago, and we are leveraging what's commonly referred to as the Click wearable at our event. For those of you who have been to a few of our events over the years, you can see what we've used these, including Evolve and ILTACON last year. They were very successful in a sense that it really kind of brought a whole new use case, kind of got everybody out of their screens and just gave everybody an opportunity to focus on the human experience and then allow the click to kind of seal the deal as an exclamation point on the end of the conversation. So we are leveraging Click, of course, to increase lead generation and offer an alternative to QR codes. Next. So with Click, you will be able to leverage the Bizzabo app. So within the Bizzabo app that will be installed and invitations will be heading out following this call. The Bizzabo app will give you access on the bottom menu to the Click timeline. Everything that is related to your experiences on site will be presented to you in a timeline. If you click your wearable with another person on site, that will be added to the timeline to let you know, of course, when that happened, and you'll be able to perform a lead qualifier form if your organization has that set up within that. That is a customization that is available to all sponsors. However, some choose not to use that, and they just leverage the built-in notes and the built-in temperature check. So with this, all admin portal invitations will be heading out following this call, including the Bizzabo reps will be added. Of course, you attendees to this call will be added to your organization very soon. What we expect and what we hope is that you review the information that will be available to you from this admin portal. As an admin, you can see there'll be quantified measurable metrics, and those will be able to be seen, including being able to set up your lead qualifier, see the breakdown of the performance per day of your representatives, so on and so forth. Next. Now, following the actual invitation going out, and once you get on site, and if you have any questions following creating your lead qualifier or anything like that, there will not only be ILTA staff that will be available to provide you some assistance on this, they will be wandering the exhibit hall and being available from the Ask ILTA desk. We will also have certified Bizzabo and Click reps there on site as well, that you'll be able to walk through any kind of process or any kind of idea that you might have regarding your portal setup or being able to get your quantified analytics. And the most important part is that you can continue the conversation off the exhibit floor. Click does not require you to be on site to leverage Click. When you are off site or out of the conference main area, you will have the ability to synchronize up to 75 contacts that are considered to be offline contacts. So let's say you're meeting at Old Hickory, you might be away from the conference floor, you simply click with somebody. Once you make it towards a authorized Click hub or towards the conference floor, that information will then be synced back to your timeline. So the whole ecosystem is this. You'll have the ability right out of the box to do lead scoring and notes that will allow you to do temperature checks, and that is built into every configuration of the sponsors. Following that, you'll have an exhibitor portal that will be available to admins, and the admins for your account are our listed ILTACON and event manager representatives on your account. You'll be able to do click lead scans. Of course, you'll be able to do lead capture through using your wearable by simply clicking and then heading back to the timeline to fill in information. And then, of course, with that supplemental to the Click, we will also be leveraging for soft leads, the Bizzabo mobile app, where they are able to roam your profile, gather information from your description, be able to review the exhibit hall maps, look at the different categories that you have set up within your configuration, and then be able to find your exhibit hall booth from the exhibit hall map itself. So just as a brief reminder, we will be having no cost this year in 2024. In previous years, we have had a different service where we required multiple licenses to be purchased per 5 people. That is not required for Bizzabo Click. One license will cover your entire team. The fully customizable lead gen form will be available for the admins to be able to set up and configure, and that will be able to be leveraged by every rep for your organization. And remember, it's just as easy as clicking. You can focus on the conversation and getting the key details and ideas that people might be presenting or communicating beyond, and just simply click at the end. An easy to read timeline, of course, to be able to make sure that you can search and filter through and be able to use export leads directly from the portal at the event's end. Now, one that is not really considered here that many of you should consider is if you do have a demo room, you have a social, you have some sort of cocktail hour, or if you have some sort of event that might be going on, what a perfect way to keep attendance. As people came into the door, you simply use your Click to be able to keep track of how many people are there. That might be a very simple way for you to be able to keep track and have that lead qualifier and have kind of a real understanding of how many people are going to be going through the platform. So just as a brief reminder, there is 0 cost to this license. The license is provided by ILTA for 2024. And then, of course, those invitations will be heading out after the call. Thank you.
Perfect. Thanks, and of course, we will be doing a walkthrough of this at the business partner orientation and appreciation reception, which is taking place on Monday at 5 to 6 p.m. In Governor. So take a look out for that. All right, so safety and security. So I know you guys have heard a lot about that this year. There's been a lot going on ever since January. But I did want to go through a few things with you. This is the video, and we've got the link, and you guys have the link in your e-groups as well to be able to listen to Jeff's safety and security video. We do have an incident form where you can report issues that have occurred. You can click on that QR code in order to get that. And then, of course, we do have an emergency 24-hour hotline that you can also call. Everyone who was on our show floor has actually clicked off saying that they have read our anti-harassment policy. Our anti-harassment policy is very clear what that means and how we will handle things and the protocols that will go through on that. Part of having the government ID picture shown at badge pickup is to make sure you are that person who signed off on that anti-harassment. And all conference attendees must wear their assigned badges while they're in the convention center area. All persons who attend the conference must have signed an ILTA anti-harassment agreement in order to be there and to get your badge. Any party guilty of violating ILTA's anti-harassment policy or, and this is important, badge sharing is potentially subject to employer notification, removal from the property, removal from the conference, banned from the conference, or the employer being banned from the conference. If you do not have badges yet secured for all of the people who will be attending and helping you in your booth and such, please reach out to our business partner team. We do not want to have issues with the badge sharing portion of this. And that is because if you're badge sharing, you have not signed off on that anti-harassment. You've not read it. And you don't know what you are. Basically, you're there without having any knowledge of what's going on with that. And this is really, really important. So I hope you guys will take some time to go through that. And if you need to share with your teams again about the anti-harassment, I can send you some more documentation. You just reach out to me if you want to go through that again with them. Once again, if you need to report something, this is a number. Go ahead and take this down. We will have it manned 24 hours. We also have a suitcasing policy. I'm not going to read through the suitcasing policy, but I'm sure many of you are wondering, why are we having a suitcasing policy? You guys have paid to be there. You have paid a lot of money to be there. You have paid to be there to talk to the people who are there. You are fully invested in this. And those people who are coming to Suitcase and sit out in the Falls bar to talk to people who are going out there to have a drink, they didn't do that. So it affects you greatly when people come into Suitcase. So let us know if that happens. You can use that phone number to report that there again. That's perfectly fine. And we will ask them to leave. There's only so much we can do in the open common areas, which basically is that area, the Falls Bar and the Cascades breakfast lunch area. Aside from that, we should not have a problem. But just know that. Take a look at it, read through it. This is really one of those things that affects you guys gravely, and so you should know about it and make sure that you are fully up to date. We do have a brand hub. This QR code takes you out there to it so that you can use some of our social media templates to promote the fact that you're going to be at ILTACON. Let people know. Let them know if you're speaking. Let them know if you're exhibiting. Use our hashtag at the bottom, ILTACON 2024, when you do. And a lot of these will assist in promoting out as well. This is where we're going to be from 2025 through 2031. So you guys can plan now. Notice that in 26 and 27, we will be back at the Gaylord Opryland in Nashville. Some of this is a carryover from 2020 during COVID, but know that they are going through a huge transformation and renovating that entire property. So it will look completely different when you go back in 26, and it'll even look different yet again in 27 when they finish up. They'll be finishing up in 27 right before we get there. Then in 28, we'll be going down to Orlando World Center, which is one of my favorite properties. They have an amazing golf course there if you play golf. We also will be in 29 back at the Gaylord National Harbor, just as we are next year. And then you can see where we'll be in 30 and 31 back in Florida and then back in Maryland. And that's all we are contracted out for at the moment. We will be looking at more going forward. I do plan on having some focus groups. We are working at the moment to get those set up for ILTACON, but I know we are all busy. So it may be taking place after ILTACON. And I do want to welcome you guys to participate in that. And the whole idea behind those focus groups is to get your insight into things you would like to see, things you would like to see improved, things that you would like to see different, so that we can all work together to make ILTACON even better than it is now. I do want to thank you guys very much for being a part of ILTACON this year. It has been quite amazing looking at all the groups that are coming in to be a part of it. We are expecting it to be an amazing event, and we're glad that you're along with us to experience it. So any other questions that we have?
Hey, Dawn, can you, I wanted to go back. Can you address a question that Jan had earlier about booth designs and how they should be submitted? Because typically, that really applies to folks who have booths that are 20 and 20 by larger. If you have a smaller booth, there's really no need to submit a plan as long as you adhere to the guidelines.
Yeah, if you have a 10 by 10, I do strongly suggest that you go out on Google and just type in IAEE. I'm gonna put it right here. IAEE booth guidelines. And the reason for that is, so last year we had one group and they were in a 10 by 10 and it was a cool booth. I admit it was a cool booth, but it had this piece that comes out and it created like an upside down L that went from the back of the booth to the front of the booth to have a flat side at the front. Anything that happens 3 feet from the aisle into your booth has to be clear. You can't have banners. You can't have part of your booth sticking out in that area. Your booth cannot stick up above the pipe and drape that we have in there. I will come by personally through the exhibit hall. Usually I go in on Monday to kind of look at things to see if we can't figure out how to make some of these small adjustments to make them work. So take a look at those guidelines. And if after looking at those guidelines, you're not sure, call me. Send me an email and I will chat with you about your booth and how we can work to make some adjustments if that happens to be a problem. Thank you, Ashley. Yep, you guys do have that document. You can send it straight over. Any other questions? Yeah, a few people have asked about the Tennessee. Tennessee has a rich history from sports to medical advancements to moonshiners, country music, all kinds of things. There's actors and actresses that have come out of Tennessee. It's just a way for everyone to kind of take a look at the history of Tennessee, see what you want to adopt, bring it into your booth. It helps educate people more on Tennessee, and it can actually be a lot of fun. Tennessee is actually a really fun state. So see what you can find, and I'm looking forward to seeing the creativity. Okay. Any any other questions? I'm scrolling through them now. Oh yes, Barry, absolutely. The Goo Goo clusters, and they have all different flavors now too. They are absolutely fantastic. Probably not very healthy, but they're very tasty. All right, any other questions? Let's see if we're missing anything. And of course, after this webinar, if you have questions, reach out to your BP team. They've got answers for most of this. If they don't, they'll send it over to someone else, and we will make sure that we get everything that you need answered in time. Now is better than later. The closer we get to some of these deadlines, it really makes it hard to make some of this stuff happen. But we want to make sure that you are as successful as you can possibly be at this event. And we want you to have a good time and enjoy yourselves. And you can't do that with a lot of stress on you. So let's take care of the stress now. So any questions, just send them over and we'll get them taken care of. Jessica, anything that you can think of that we might have missed? Tyler, anything that we might have missed?
No, just make sure that everyone's looking into the Marriott Bonvoy app. There's some really great features on there, such as keyless entry, mobile check-in to your hotel room. And then really want to reiterate, I kind of goofed in the chat there by providing the Gaylord Opryland FedEx shipping address. Please, please, please do not use that for your booth or demo shipments. Use the labels that have been provided to you. That is only for the individual who was looking to ship a package from Amazon directly to the hotel.
Thank you. And that was a great piece on Marriott Bonvoy. If you guys noticed, we are contracted with Marriott going out through 31. So it benefits you to become a member of Marriott Bonvoy. If you have the mobile key, you can bypass registration and not have to stand in line. That alone is worth having it. And then of course you get free Wi-Fi too. So take a look at that. Lots of cool things in there. You can order room service on there. I've done that a few times. A lot of great features on that app as well. Thanks, Jessica. Tyler, anything else from your side?
I just wanted to emphasize the importance of having everyone get their folks registered before the registration ends. There's still quite a few folks that haven't completed their registrations. There will be a long line on site. So please, if you need any assistance, please reach out to me or your CSM. I did post a link in the chat. Happy to send that again if you didn't see it. But that link, you can send that link to anyone who you've assigned a badge who has not yet registered, or I should say completed their registration. They can use that to access their account. We can easily reset their password as well. Just shoot us an email. We can do it on the fly for them. And again, any questions in that regarding the registration process, just let us know, because I really want you all to have a pleasant experience when you arrive. And it's all going to start with making sure everyone has a badge and not having to wait in line. So appreciate your help on this.
Yeah, I think, Tyler, I haven't looked today, and I'll be honest, I haven't looked today, but yesterday when I went out and looked, it seemed that we had just over 400 people who had not completed their registrations yet.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of people to have in line. And I know it can get frustrating waiting in line. I totally get it. But be mindful that this was a choice not to have it all registered ahead of time. So please don't yell at my people. Be kind. They're trying to help you out and get you through as fast as possible. And they get a little bit stressed too. So if we can all work together on that, I would really appreciate it. And the more we get in by tomorrow night at 11:59 p.m., the better off we will be. Any that are sent in, especially our staff leaves to go to Nashville on August 6th. If anything comes like that in during that time, we're not even going to see it, because we are working with the hotel, we are building stuff, we are gathering all the data, we are making the event actually occur. And so these deadlines that are long past, we won't even be taking a look at that until we can actually start working on registration stuff. So please be aware of that. It'll just help all of us. Thank you, Ashley. Yep, I didn't want to say so now we're 576 still need to complete the registration. That will be a lot of people in line if you do not have your teams in time. So please make sure that you do that.
One other thing to help you all with this process, we can send you a report via Excel that will show you the number of badges that you have not yet assigned, the number that you have assigned, and the number that have been used. So we're happy to send that to you at any point. That'll give you a view of the folks that you may need to chase down. But again, if you haven't seen the report, you'd like to get the report, just reach out to me or the CSM, and we're more than happy to generate that and send it to you immediately. It's a wonderful tool to use in this situation.
Yep, and Ian just posted it in the chat. You will not be added to Bizzabo and Click until you have completed your registration. So even if you wanted to plan ahead and choose some sessions and things to go ahead and start preparing, until you're registered, you will not have access to that app.
That's all I have, Don. I just want to thank everyone, and we're looking forward to seeing everyone in Nashville.
Yeah, so someone just came in about if they haven't started yet. Yeah, I totally get that. I do. We could actually go ahead and, if you know who they are, we can actually go ahead and register. We can work together, get them registered. But we might have to have a chat on that, because obviously their email address might not have been turned on for that back end extension. So reach out to your business partner. If you got someone that sits in that scenario and you want to get them registered, go ahead. Send them to your business partner. They can help you out. They can get them online. I like that you're baptizing them with ILTACON right out of the gate. That's fantastic. Encourage them to attend the new set, what's it called? The orientation for new people. We've got a buddy group set up too, so they can get acclimated, all of that. All right, well, with that, I think that is it. Of course, if you have any questions, reach out to your BPs. Reach out to Jessica, myself, Ian. We're all here to help you have a successful experience. And I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in a couple of weeks. Laura, this recording will be available as soon as we edit the front end of it and can get it posted, because we started it a little bit too early today. But it'll be soon. All right. Thank you very much.